Good evening, my dear friends. My name is Rabbi Abba Promoter, as many of you probably know, and tonight it's Tuesday evening at 7:30 here in Long Beach, California. And that could only mean one thing, that another session of our very important course called Towards a Meaningful Life. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, I have just tampered a little bit with the lighting in this room. And I discovered that if you put some lights behind the computer, it may make a difference. I see a big difference, and I hope that it's okay and makes a difference to you viewing me. So that's number one. Number two, if you have been keeping count, when we started this course a number of weeks ago, we decided that this is going to be a 6-part lesson. 6 parts, 6 different topics, 6 weeks to help us go towards living the best, your most meaningful life. Not that this is going to end our journey. Of course, we're going to keep on trucking. But for us to meet on Tuesday nights for this particular course, we decided that 6 weeks is going to do it. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with a bittersweet feeling, we have to say that this is the last class of this course. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't continue to talk about meaning and life and making our lives better. Of course, we will. We'll always continue to do that because the Rebbe always said, if good is good, is better, not better. If good is better, it's always better. So we can always better ourselves. We can always have more meaning in our life. But as far as this course is concerned, 6 weeks is about as good as it gets. So tonight we are going to finish it off on a high. And we chose the topic of happiness and joy because I believe that those are one of the most basic ingredients towards living a meaningful life. And we'll get into much more detail as the night goes on. So unlike last week when we had talked about a sad, tonight I want everyone to put their happy hats on and their joyful hats on because that's where the journey is going to take us this evening. For those that have been joining us, I want to just recap what the 5 weeks, where it's led us. So the first week, we established an important, fundamental idea that you matter. You matter. That means no matter what it is, you're maybe one of 7 billion people. Don't take that into consideration. You, my dear friend, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you've done in life, that doesn't matter. You matter because God doesn't make any junk, and because you are here on earth means that to God in heaven you make a difference. So it doesn't matter if you're the president, it doesn't matter if you're a public person, doesn't matter if you're the whatever it is. It could be that you're alone, no one, simple person. You matter. And if you don't believe that, it's going to be hard to live a meaningful life. You have to say to yourself, I have a purpose here, and I'm going to continue to struggle, whatever that struggle is going to be, to make the best of it. So number one, the first week we talked about you make a difference. Okay? Now that doesn't mean you have to think of yourself in a narcissistic way. Of course not. What you got to think of yourself is that you play an important role in God's creation. That's all. God has given you talents, use them. Feel good about yourself. Number one. Second, we talked about the importance of love and relationships, that how to give of yourself. Because if you're going to be selfish, it's impossible. You're not going to live a meaningful life. Selfish people doesn't work. You have to be able to share that love and that relationship. Now, that means to your spouse, that means to your partner, that means to your children, that means to your neighbors, to everyone around you. We talked in the second week how very important those two ideas are in order to establish a meaningful life. Number three, you've now established a family or whatever the circumstances, and you have a thing that's called a house. You went ahead and you bought a house. Mazel tov, congratulations, you have a house, right? You have 4 walls, you have a roof, you have a bathroom, you have a bedroom, you have a dining room. many other different rooms around. It's great. It's wonderful. The edifice is perfect. It's beautiful, structurally sound, but it's not complete. That house has to turn into a home. A home and a house are two different things. A house is the physical structure. Yes, that has to be sound. Make sure the windows are not broken. Make sure the roof doesn't leak, all of those things. But what's more important towards living a meaningful life is the fact that you've taken that house and you've turned it into a home. How? That was lesson number 3. That, you know what, you make your home, you bring love into your home. You care about the people in your home. That makes a house into a home. It's a safe environment. It's your sanctuary. It's the place where you go to when the outside world is a struggle and everyone out there is running around. Your home has become a sanctuary. And how so important is it now in our days here, now, during this terrible pandemic that we're still experiencing, how important is it to turn our physical structure of a house into our home? That was lesson number 3. Lesson number 4 was the idea of the real value of work and money. Oh, we all love money. We love money. We love money. Money gets us freedom. Money gets us good things. Money can buy us wonderful, wonderful things that we can surround ourselves in. That gives us a tremendous amount, of pleasure. Work, okay. Work is you have to go to work. But we talked about in lesson number 4 the importance, the real value of work, that you contribute to society. That when you walk into your workplace and you have good self-esteem, you have a happy home, you know what, you're doing well, everyone around you is elevated. Everyone is inspired. So whether you're a worker, you're a boss, you're a teacher, you're a doctor, whatever, no matter what, that work, it becomes important to you because it makes your life more meaningful. And certainly the money. We don't allow the money to control us. We control the money. That was lesson number 4. And last week, we talked about pain and suffering, how we're all going to go through it. Everyone, God forbid, is going to suffer something in their lives. There's going to be a challenge. We hope and pray that the pain is minimal. No one wants a lot of pain, but we're going to go through that, whether a loss of a loved one, the loss of a job, the loss of a relationship, whatever the circumstances are going to be. I just want to say hello to everybody here. Thank you for tuning in. All right. We talked about how to deal loss, do something with that loss. We know that you are hurting, but there is going to be a time when you are going to be able to smile again. I promise you, there will be a time when you'll be able to smile again if you allow yourself. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, I think to myself, you know what, because I'm not sitting in front of an audience and I'm talking to literally to myself here on the computer, I'm wondering, do I make a difference? I don't know. Am I making a difference? I know people are posting nice little notes. Hi, I'm here, I'm watching, and it's all very nice. And afterwards, but last week, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you something. I don't normally share private post, and I'm not going to mention who this was, but there was a person that wrote to me, Rabbi, I watched your class, I became your friend from a third party, and the words that you spoke last week really helped me a little bit because her daughter, at 40 years old, committed suicide 2 months ago, and of course, I mean, how could you even relate to something like that? But I'm just happy that I was able to maybe for a few minutes just alleviate some of that pain and suffering. So you never know. And I go back to this, ladies and gentlemen. You never ever know. Doesn't have to be a rabbi, doesn't have to be in front of a computer, doesn't have to be giving a course. Everyone has that ability to uplift and to make someone else's life better. And when you do that, if you're able to go out there and make someone else's life better, what do you think? You think God is just going to sit there and not reward you for it? Absolutely not. Karma, karma. Whatever we put out there, ladies and gentlemen, into the world, that's what's going to come out. You put good thoughts out, inspirational thoughts out, positive thoughts out, loving thoughts out, eventually it's going to come back to you. So those were the 5. And tonight we wrap it up with, I think, is maybe, if not the most important ingredient towards a meaningful life, definitely top 2, 3, okay, 4, and that is happiness and joy. I'm going to drop joy. I'm going to talk about happiness. Okay, You could bifurcate. There are people that want to, what's the difference between happiness and joy, whatever, but we're not going to worry about those things right now. You could go to your dictionary and figure that out yourself. Right now, tonight, we're going to wrap it up because I'm telling you, you will not, in capital NOT, be able to live a meaningful life. You're just not going to be able to unless there is happiness in your life. That's it. You know what? Depression, negativity, melancholy, cynicism, sadness, these are surefire emotions that will prevent you from living your best life. Nothing to talk about. Nothing to talk. Now, that doesn't mean that you're always going to be in a state of euphoria. Of course not. We're adults. We're not always going to be in a state of tremendous happiness, and we'll get to that. But those emotions that I mentioned before, like cynicism and depression and negativity, melancholy, all of these things, those attitudes will definitely prevent you, if we're not able to be able to manage those somehow, constructively, we're not going to be able to live on, we're not going to be able to live the best possible life. And that's what God wants from us. Simply, God wants us to live the best possible life that we can. So after 120 years, when we come up to heaven and God says, okay, you know what? You were down in heaven. I gave you a soul. What did you accomplish? You're able to say to him, you know what? Look what I did. I did A, I did B, but most important, God, I was happy. I lived a happy and meaningful life. And for that, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that. But if you're going to allow the negative emotions and feelings and attitudes to drag you down, forget about it. So that's now we have to understand in today's day and age, oh my gosh, how important is it now, maybe more than ever in our lives, to turn those frowns into smiles. I know that sounds corny, turn your frown into a smile. Come on, small smile. But now think about it. There are so many, there's so many factors today, ladies and gentlemen, that won't let us be happy. Just won't let us be happy. Number one is this pandemic that's been that's been with us March and April, May, June, 9 months already. 9 months already. And we've had this pandemic, and the numbers, if you read in the newspaper, are only going up and up and up. And hospitalizations are going up and up and up. Okay, so we have this pandemic. Besides the pandemic, what it does is it ruins the economy. I mean, basically, we're here in Long Beach, California. This past week, the mayor, even tightened up more restrictions, closed all of the restaurants, and it's getting tougher and tougher. So the economy is shaking. We're isolated. Many of us are home. We don't want to go out. We're afraid to go out. We're isolated at home. We worry about our kids' education. The children are not in school. They're home. Now, I know people are going to say, you know what? There's Zoom and but is Zoom a way for children to learn? Is this the best method that we can come up to educate our children is through Zoom? So they sit in front of a computer. And I know that every one of those kids, if they're old enough, has a phone, and while the teacher's not looking, they're on their phone doing whatever they're doing. That's not a way to do it. We need kids in a classroom with a teacher. That's how children have learned for thousands of years, and that's how they need to be. So we worry about our children's education. We've lost almost a whole year, of schooling. People have lost their jobs. You know what? Job loss. You know, all of this does what to us? It makes us worry. It makes us anxious. All of these are real issues. There's nothing fake about this. This is not like people, are looking for problems. That everything is good, but there are going to be this type of person that no matter what the circumstances are, they're always a Debbie Downer. They're always going to find some negativity, no matter what, in a birthday party and whatever it is. This is not it. This is real problems, real issues. And therefore, far be it from me to say to you out there, hey, you know what? You got to be happy. Rabbi, nevertheless, with all of those things, with all of those reasons, and all of those factors to be worried, to be anxious, nevertheless, there are many more on the flip side of the coin in order reasons to pursue happiness. It's not easy. It may not be easy, but I could tell you something. It's extremely necessary. Necessary for a variety of reasons. Number one, let me just share with you, okay, some of the benefits, the health benefits of happy people. All right? These are the health benefits of happy people. Number one, studies have shown that happy people have less heart problems. Think about that for a second. Happy people have less heart problems. That makes perfect sense to me. You know what? Because if you're happy and you're up and you're inspired, you know what? You're gonna feel better. Instead of worry, your heart is gonna suffer. So no, numero uno, better, less heart disease. Number two, happy people suffer less stress and less stress. And you know what? Stress is the number one killer in America, probably. People are so over worried. This kills them, literally kills them. All right? Number three, it's been shown that happy people and joyful people have a stronger immune system. Now, let that sink in for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We're here in a pandemic, all right? A pandemic that we need to have the strongest immune system. I mean, I wish I could explain it to you, why, the entire immune system and the positivity of this, but there are doctors online and they will also tell you a strong immune system is going to helps us when it comes to this, to the COVID-19, right? So the happy people have a stronger immune system. Wouldn't you want a stronger immune system? I promise, if they were selling a pill, if they were selling a pill online and said, hey, you know what? For 7 easy payments of 19.99, we will send you a bottle, and in this bottle there'll be a pill, and this pill will strengthen your immune system. Now with this pandemic out there, and everybody's worried about a deficient immune system, we pay it. We gladly pay it. And here I'm telling you something that happy people who know how to manage happiness, have a stronger immune system, and you can save yourself that $140 for the 7 payments of 19.99. There you go, easy. This already was worth the price of admission to this course. What did it cost you? Nothing, and you're getting good advice. Win-win situation all around. Okay, overall, happy people are healthier. There's less diabetes. There's less depression among them, among happy people. And if you have less diabetes, which means also this is one of the factors here, underlying factors of this COVID is looking for people with diabetes. It's looking for people with diabetes. So if you don't have diabetes, and the reason you don't have diabetes is because you're happy, so you have a good attitude, so yeah, there you go. When the COVID comes, say, sorry, no diabetes here. I'm happy. Goodbye. So here you go. More healthier. Reduces pain. They experience less pain. Happy people live longer. Now, it could be you don't want to live longer. Maybe you're the kind of person that says to themselves, you know what, I'd rather not live longer. Okay, fine. I've had enough. Then you don't need this course. You don't need to live a meaningful life. It's over. No, but 99.9999% of all people want to live longer. And if you want to live longer, happier people live longer. They exercise more. Now, here's where I can tell you from personal experience. No, I mentioned, if you know me, and those that have known me for a few years know that I've been on a million different diets. I am a foodie, admitted foodie, love food, love food. I mean, I could talk about food, not six classes in a course. I could do a 21-week class, on food. How much I love food. I know, and I know why. My mother was a Holocaust survivor. She fed me and fed me and fed me, turned me into a foodie. And I'm a foodie, fine. No, I know. But if you're a foodie at 15 when you're running around all day, it doesn't matter. But when you're 60 and you're a foodie, then your waistline expands. So I've tried every diet, exercise, but now, recently, the quarantine 15 hit me 3 times. So it became the quarantine 45. I said, Dayenu. So now I've been exercising regularly. Every day a half an hour, except for Shabbos. I exercise a half an hour. I found this video online and I put it on. And in my office alone, I do it for a half an hour. At the end of the half an hour, I'm sweating and I'm out of breath, but I feel good. I feel good. I feel like I've accomplished something. I'm happier, And that happiness has driven me, it's happier, and that driven me to continue to do it. No one wants to, who wants to exercise? Exercise generally, but happy people exercise more. And I'm hoping that this exercise that I'm doing will continue, and it's going to be like I'm on a good roll right now. So one thing leads to another. I'm eating a little better. I'm eating more healthier. So one thing, but all this comes down is because I'm feeling better. I'm feeling happier. When there's so much weight and you on this, it's you're sluggish. So here's another health benefit. Literally, happy people exercise more. So that's all true when it comes to your health. How about lifestyle? And you say, Rabbi, what benefit does it have? Okay, I understand the health benefits. What about my lifestyle? How is it going to better me? Good. Good you asked that question. You know what? It's proven that happier people are more successful, both in business. They're more loved. Of course, if you're a happy person and you show love and you give love and you're willing to share that love, more people are going to love you. In perfect sense. More creative, more motivated. I mean, if I'm a manager in a business, an owner of a business, I want to hire people. I want a happy person. Do I need a negative person coming into the business? Someone that's melancholy and sour? No, of course not. I want someone that's happy. I'm not talking about a clown. I don't want to hire a clown, but I want to hire someone that's happy, that understands what happiness means, because they're going to be more motivated, they're going to be more creative, and it's proven over and over again. They're kinder. Happy people are kinder. Why not? Miserable people want to like to see everybody miserable. So you know what? Misery loves company, doesn't it? But happy people are kinder people. Great, better marriages. There you go. So you know what? Maybe in your marriage, maybe it's a little rocky right now. Think about it. Are you happy? Are you personally, not the marriage itself, but are you happy? If you're not happy, then of course your spouse is not going to be happy. Happy spouse, happy house. Happy wife, happy life. That's what we always say. Keep your wife happy and keep your spouse happy. You'll have a happy house. Happy people have more friends. Okay? So all of these things, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. For the effort that we're going to put in managing our happiness, all of these things are going to come all beneficial to us. Everything beneficial to us. Is not worth the effort? Of course it's worth the effort. Absolutely worth the effort. Now you're going to ask me a question here right now. I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, okay, what is happiness? I keep talking about happiness. What is happiness? Tell me what happiness is, Rabbi. You've talked already for 20 minutes about happiness. Explain what happiness is. Okay. So in the dictionary, it's interesting. If you go to the dictionary will define happiness as the state of being happy. That's very helpful, isn't it? The state of being happy. Oh, what kind of a definition is that? So you dig a little further, and there's another definition, and this one helps us a little more. What is it? It says it's the feeling of showing pleasure or contentment. Now, listen closely because it's very important here. The feeling of showing pleasure or contentment. From this, from here, from this definition, we can glean a few important points. What can we glean? Number one, happiness is a state, not a trait. It's a state, not a trait. Meaning it's not forever. It's not long lasting, permanent, right? It's not. It's not a permanent feature. Meaning happiness will come and go, come and go. We'll be happy a little bit, and then we're going to retreat. We'll be happy because it's a feeling, it's a state that we put ourselves in. We're not constantly in that. It's not like a trait, like you have something, a characteristic that's with you all the time. No, no, no. Happiness is a state. It changes. Very important to understand that. It's a feeling. Happiness can be both eternal and external. There are people that never show outward happiness. You know what? They sit there, they're calm, but inside they are so happy inside. And they don't have to dance around, they don't got to shout, they don't got to smile. It helps, of course, all of those things, but the happiness can be internal. If your heart is pumping and you're excited, that's happiness too. And then, of course, happiness can be external. At a wedding of a child, I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's there's no feeling. I mean, I've been through this a number of times with my own children, standing under the chuppah at the marriage canopy and watching your children grow up, and now they're going to start their own family. It's an unbelievable feeling of what it is. And I know that there are many people that are writing in great thoughts. I wish that I can read all of them, but I just can't right now. But I think everybody can probably read themselves what it is. So here it is. Happiness can be either internal or external. It's not always. Happiness is not always feeling good. People have this mistake. Oh, Rabbi, I don't always feel good. Of course you don't always feel good. Who does always feel good? A cucumber, till it's cut up, of course. But a cucumber feels good all the time. A tree, till the dog shows up. But you know what? A human being is not always going to feel good. That's what it is. We live with vicissitudes. There's highs, there's lows, there's intermediates, there's sad times, there's happy times. Of course, happiness is not always going to be able to feel good. You know what else? Happiness is not. Happiness is not being rich. Because people can be, oh, Rabbi, if I was rich, if I had a better job, if I was making more money, that's not going to make you happier. Yes, it'll maybe make you a little calmer. You'll have enough money to pay your rent. You'll have enough money to do this. Yes, yes, yes. But being rich, saying to yourself, oh, you know what, Rabbi, I'm only going to be happy when I'm rich. No. Who is rich? Someone that's happy with their lot. That's someone who's rich. Now, if that's what you mean, that you're going to be rich and you're going to be satisfied, that's a whole different story. But people say, no, I'm only going to be happy if I have $5 million in the bank. Hey, you think when that $5 million comes in, you are going to be happy? No. Doesn't work that way. Happiness is also not a final destination. To say to ourselves, hey, you know what? I'm only going to be happy if A, B, and C and D happen. If that's it, if A, B, C, and D don't happen, meaning if I don't get my big promotion, or I don't get the car that I want, or I can't live in the mansion that I want to, or I'm not going to marry the beauty queen that I thought that I'm going to marry, then that's the only thing that's going to make me happy. You will not be happy. You will never be happy. Because if you're chasing happiness and think of it as a final destination, that I will only be happy if I marry that particular girl, or I marry that particular boy, or I end up living in that particular city, that's not going to make you happy. As soon as you get to that particular city, well, you're going to be miserable because, okay, you have achieved it now. Now what? So you're here. I'm living in California. So that's not going to make you happy. Happiness is not a final destination. So happiness is none of the above. What is it? It's a feeling of showing pleasure and contentment. Pleasures and contentments. That's what it is. How do we get there? How do we get there? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is the key. Listen closely. How do we get there? We get there by one word, and this is the key word, a decision. Happiness is making a decision. That's it. And it's making a decision. There's a famous story I want to share about these two twin brothers. It's a famous story. I've told it a number of times, but it's always good to reiterate it because people forget whatever the circumstances are. And one of them was the ultimate optimist, and that one was ultimate pessimist. Now again, this is not a trait. This is a state. So one was an optimist, one was a pessimist. So the parents said, "Look, we could change them. There's behavioral scientists that work on this. So we're gonna be able to change because it's not too good. One was always happy and the other one was always sad. Okay, so they took them to this famous doctor, cost him thousands of dollars, but he said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna fix them." So he took the one that was always the pessimist, and he brought him into a room with every new toy, every new toy, every new toy. You know, he had a game box and a this and a that and a this and a that and everything. And he told the parents, "Wait, we'll come back in an hour, and you're going to see this kid is going to be smiling. He's going to be happy." I know you have to question, Donna. Wait a second, I'm going to explain. The other one, who was always the optimist, he put him in a room with horse manure. Pardon the expression. The whole floor was filled with horse manure. He said, "Wait, come back in an hour. You're going to see him. He's going to be terribly sad." And that's the way we're gonna jumpstart them. Basically, like a car, we're gonna jumpstart the pessimist into being the optimist, and the optimist into some pessimism. Okay, and they go for lunch, and they come back. All right, they come back, and they say to themselves, okay, let's go. Let's take a look at the first one. Let's look at the pessimist. They come in there, the kid has not touched a toy. He's sitting in the middle of the room with a frown, with an angry face. So the doctor says to him, why didn't you do? I mean, you had all these toys, you had an hour. Why didn't you play? Hey! Because he was complaining the toys are going to break. Eventually they get boring. So he didn't even start. He made a decision right there and then that he's not going to allow himself to enjoy anything. Nothing. He made that decision, the kid. The doctor said, okay, with this one we failed, but the next one, watch. You see, the next one we're going to go in there and we're going to say to we're going to see that he's sitting in the horse manure, he's crying, he's miserable. They walked into the room, and there he was in the middle of the room, full of horse manure, and he was so happy, smiling. He said, thank you so much for putting me here. And the doctor said, well, I mean, thank you so much. You're in the midst of a room with horse manure. He said, with so much horse manure, there's got to be a pony nearby. Huh? There's got to be a pony nearby. If there's a pony, who made the manure? You see that, ladies and gentlemen? This kid had made a decision. He made a decision in life. He was sitting in a horse manure, but he thought to himself, you know what? The situation is not grim. Because why? Because there's something out there close by that sooner or later I'm going to bump into this horse. And when I see the horse, I'm never gonna. I'm gonna have the time of my life. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of children, of people that have made decisions. I mean, there's no reason why the first one could not have played with the toys, and there's no reason why the second one shouldn't have been pessimistic. But they made a decision in their life that they're not going to do that, and that's why Hashem tells us in the Psalms, "Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha." You have to serve God with joy. You have to serve God with joy. This is what it says in Psalms. Why? Why can't you just serve God? Why do you have to have joy for? Because God understands that inside of you that there's this inclination called the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination. We call it in Kabbalistic terms, Hasidic terms. And this Yetzer Hara, this evil inclination, this little devil, right? He's always trying to undermine you, always trying to undermine you. And he doesn't want you to fulfill your destiny. He doesn't want you to have a relationship with God. He would like to see you do everything except succeed in life. And just enjoy yourself. Go out there and do everything. So what he does is he undermines you by making you sad. That's making you melancholy, making you cynical, skeptical, bitter, negative, right? All of these traits, all of these emotions, all of these feelings that come from the from that little devil inside of you. Therefore, God says to you, you know what the antidote to this is? Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. Go out there and serve God with joy. If you make that decision, that means we wake up every morning as Jews and we have a very special prayer. The first thing that comes out of our mouth is gratitude. Thank you, God, for giving me back my soul. I understand that while I was asleep, you took it back up, you cleaned it, you rejuvenated it, and then you sent it back down into my body. And I'm fresh, and I'm excited, and I'm ready to meet this day. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing in the morning, before anything, before we get out of bed, before we wash our face, before we brush our teeth, before we shower, before everything, we say a statement of gratitude. Thank you, Lord, for giving me back my soul and allowing me to meet this day with excitement and inspiration. Think about that. Now, you don't have to say it the way I just said it. You could say grumbly. You could get up and say, you're saying it because you have to say it, because your father wanted you to say it, and your grandfather wanted you to say it, and God wants you to say it, so there's a responsibility, so you say it. Of course, not there, of course. So now you get up and you're already starting are grumbly. So you look in the mirror while you're brushing your teeth or washing your face, and you say to yourself, another day. You've just made a decision. That itself, that you go through that process, is a decision that you're going to be a grumbler today. You are going to be a grumbling person. But if you woke up and said, thank you, God, for giving me back. Thank you, Lord, for giving me back my soul. And I'm going to use this opportunity to live the best day that I possibly can. And when you go into the bathroom and you're brushing your teeth and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, how am I going to make this day the best possible. There you have made a decision. That's it. You've made a decision that today you're not going to be like yesterday or 2 days ago or the last week. Today is you're going to stay positive. You're going to be more sympathetic. You're going to listen better. You're going to speak softer. You're going to speak kinder. You are going to try your best to be happy. You're not going to let the little nuisances from life deter you. Yes, yesterday you couldn't find your keys. You drove your whole family crazy, screaming, shouting, ranting like an insane individual. Not today. Today things are going to happen. You're going to let them go. You're going to be more. You're going to be more patient. You're going to be kinder. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a decision that you have to make. You and only you. I can't come. What do you want me to come to your bathroom and make that decision for you? Whoa. What do you expect? I should run around the whole world helping? No. I'm telling you now, and you make that decision, and you tell everybody around you to make that same decision. Can you imagine if 7 billion people woke up one morning and everyone said, Mo Ani, how can I make this world a better place? Think of what the world would be like. Imagine, Mashiach is going to be here. Mashiach would be here. And all we have to do is wake up in the morning and make that right decision. You say, no, Rabbi, I can't. I have so many problems. You don't understand. When I wake up in the morning, right away, before anything, right away, I think about this and I think about that, and there's this problem and there's that problem and there's this kalam, that I can't, Rabbi, you don't understand. I can't make that decision to be happy. So you know what? Let me tell you something. I'm going to show you a few examples of little people that I'm going to describe to you, and you're going to see that their life is not perfect. They're not living a prince and princess's life. They're not living a royal life, but these people are happy. Listen to this for a second and see where you can fit in. Here's a lady who lives alone. Okay, she has no one at home, but she has an excellent relationship with her nephews and nieces. She shares, she gives of charity, and she finds tremendous meaning in her work. Okay, so it's not perfect, but she's happy. She's totally happy, even though that not everything is perfect. She's alone, but she has a great relationship with her family and finds a lot of meaning in her work. Number two, here's a man who is happily married with healthy children, but doesn't make much of a living. He's happy. You know what? He comes home, he sees his wife, he sees his children. Okay, he's not Bill Gates, he's not Warren Buffett, he's not Jeff Bezos. He understands that. He does it. He's making a meager living, a low-paying job. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, he made a decision to be happy. Here he is. Is everything perfect? No, it's not. No, it's not. He could use a few extra dollars, but he looks at his wife, and that gives him tremendous satisfaction. Here is a lady that lost her husband. Another example. A lady who lost her husband, who has a wonderful relationship, gets visits from her children, and volunteers for local charities. So is everything perfect? No, she lost her husband. But you know what? She calls her children call her. She has a great relationship with her grandchildren, and she's decided that now she has some time. She's volunteering at the local charity, at the local place. Not a perfect life, but a meaningful life. Happiness in this lady's life. A cancer patient, I know, who has a wonderful support system. There's people around him. Now, how do you get that wonderful support system? And he finds meaning in helping others through chemotherapy. So he went through chemotherapy. A perfect life, you would say? No, illness. But yet he found the capacity to find happiness and joy in his life, and he's sharing that by a meaningful stand of helping other people get through the problems. Here again, this guy could complain a million times. Why me? Why me? Why? What if? No, he didn't. He doesn't. He makes that decision that he is going to be happy and he's going to find meaning in helping other people get through. A social worker who works 70 hours with no overtime pay just to make sure that the kids under her find good homes. Think about that. She works 70 hours, no overtime, just to make sure that the kids, and these kids come from terrible backgrounds, find good homes. Perfect life? No, not a perfect life. Works extremely hard and could complain from today to tomorrow about the system, why it's not fair. Look at these children, they're abused, they're this. She doesn't. She focuses her energy by saying to herself, you know what? A lot is going to help me if I complain. You know what? Nothing. Zero. No one is going to care. What's going to make a difference? Finding a good home for that boy. Finding a good home for that girl. Meaning and happiness. I'm an unmarried man, who doesn't have much of a salary, but finds meaning in his shul. He belongs to a congregation. He belongs to a community. He comes to davening every morning. He shows up to prayers in the morning. All right, he's a bachelor, but you know what? He's found in his community a source of strength. He's found in his community a source of inspiration. All right, perfect life? No, of course not. He's alone. Nonetheless, he has found something that he can now channel his energy into. Okay, a teenager in a foster home. What a circumstance! A teenager in a foster home who has some close friends. He's developed close personal relationship, and he likes playing football on his high school football team. Perfect life? No, of course not. Able to complain, of course, but you know what? He said to himself, you know what? I've developed friendships. I know I don't live the perfect life, but I enjoy what I'm doing. Every one of these, a man who loves animals, he loves animals, and he loves his job. You know what? Here he finds meaning, and he finds happiness. All of these examples, ladies and gentlemen, I've given to you. Why? Simply to show you that you can fit into one of these categories. Perfect lives? No. Exemplary people? Absolutely. Why? Because every one of those 8 people that I've mentioned to you has made a decision that even though my life is not perfect, even though it's not perfect, you know what? I can find happiness when you allow yourself to do that. When you say to yourself, the circumstances that I find myself in are not going to define me. You know what? I'm going to change my circumstances. Meaning, if I'm a foster kid, I'm going to be with foster parents. That's the destiny that I find myself in. Now, I can become bitter and angry, or I can embrace it and find meaning and find happiness out wherever, in the football team, right? In a shul, in a community, with friends, with whatever. Those people, even though you may look at them and you say to yourself, how do these people keep going? All of them did one thing. They made a decision that they will not allow the circumstances to make them bitter, angry, and negative. End of discussion. And you can fit into one of those categories. Everyone can fit into one of those categories. Is your life perfect? My life perfect? No. Who lives a perfect life? No, no one lives a perfect life. We all have challenges. We all have roadblocks in the way. But you know what? You could let those roadblocks drag you down, or you could allow your roadblocks to help you soar. Make those roadblocks part of your destiny. Okay? Part of your destiny. Okay? Yeah. Now, how? What are some? Because you know what? Right now we're on 45, and more we're getting up to it. I'm a person that likes to talk about, you know, practical ideas. Every class that we give, I try to come up with some practical ideas because talking philosophy is great, but philosophy is philosophy. I want to talk about what are some signs of a happy person. What are some of the things that we should be emulating? We should be thinking about. We should be striving and say, you know what? Look, there is a good trait. There is a good not a no. There is a good yeah. It could be a good trait. There is something, a good thing that this person is doing. Now let's go through a number of these. Okay. Number one, happy people. Happy people don't feel entitled and have fewer expectations. There you go. Happy people. Happy people do not feel entitled that the world owes them anything. And therefore, everything that is earned and not given is great. Think about that. Lower expectations and understand that you're not entitled to anything. Because if you do, you won't be happy, no meaningful life. A happy person is not insulting or spiteful, right? Think about how you talk to people. Are you the kind of person that is always insulting? No. Happy people don't need to insult other people. and they don't live in spite of other people. Happy people don't hold grudges. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Why? What benefit does it? Because 20 years ago, someone did something to you, or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or last week, someone did something to you that you thought was an offense to you. So you're not going to talk to them, or you're going to cut them out of your life, even though they have been your friend for 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, 3 minutes. Happy people don't hold grudges. They let it go. Let it go, ladies. Let it go. Oh, let it go. Okay? That's it. Happy people don't hold grudges. They're excited to learn new things. Oh, Rabbi, I'm a senior citizen. So you're a senior citizen. Happy people are excited to learn new things on the internet, a class, Ollie, whatever it is. They're excited to learn new things. They're open. Happy people are high, high, high in humility and patience. Have patience. You know what? It's not happening now. I'll wait. I'll wait. Don't worry. Good things will come to me. And they're humble. Humble. Oh, I can't begin to tell you how important that is, humility. One thing that God says is, I can't take someone that's arrogant. Me and him can't fit in the same room. If someone is arrogant, he takes all the air out of the room. There's no place for God. Humility, ladies and gentlemen, understanding that even though we may be very successful, we may be very talented, the greatest scientist in the world, the greatest artist in the world, the most profound rabbi in the world, we understand all of these were given to us in order to make this world better, not to make ourselves haughty and stand over somebody else. So happy people are high in humility and patience. These two ingredients I can't stress enough, ladies and gentlemen. I mentioned before, small annoyances. Ah, how they throw us off. They throw us off. Someone cuts us off in the freeway. Someone comes in front of us, and the bank, in the super, whatever it is. We feel we're being taken advantage of. A small annoyance, and we lose ourselves. Absolutely go crazy, on ourselves. Really? Really? You're going to allow that to bring you down, to ruin your entire day? Happy people don't register small annoyances. It happens, it happens. Okay, it happens. Finished. This is the part of being human. We have to interact with people. People are going to do things. I'm going to do things. I'm going to set aside my keys somewhere. I'm going to forget them. I'm going to find them eventually. A phone, whatever it is, maybe a little annoying. But I'm not going to allow this to ruin my entire day, and especially other people's days. Happy people don't have angst over yesterday or tomorrow. What happened yesterday happened already. That's it. I mean, I could go on with this because of the election. I mean, the reaction after the election, whatever it was, the angst that is going on. The angst. Happy people. You know what? Here's a case of where I remember someone, a good friend of mine, wrote on Facebook, that if the president doesn't accept this was right after the election, that he doesn't immediately, accept that the other guy won, he's wiping out all his friends. Don't, you're not my friend. Well, really? Why? Why? I'm your friend. So I think that he has allowed to challenge it. That's why we're not going to be able to get along, because I believe the president has a right to challenge certain. Not that I feel that way, but why would that upset our friendship? Because I have a political opinion and you have a political opinion. We can't be friends. When I'm not advocating someone should arrest you and your children and put you in jail. Happy people don't have angst. Worry about what's going to happen in 3 weeks from now. They just don't worry. They don't worry about that. They have a job to do. They live their lives and they live and they're mindful. I want, like Steve had written. They're mindful. That's all. Ha 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 ha. Like, I came to one that to me is a clincher, right? They laugh. Happy people are able to laugh, and they laugh at themselves and they smile. They are happy. They understand humor, and even if they don't have the greatest sense of humor, they try, but they smile. Every day they find things to be able to smile about. They practice compassion and kindness. Happy people worry about other people, right? And then when they worry about them, they actually act on that. They go out there and they help somebody else. They worry about somebody else. They don't think of themselves as a victim or a martyr. We in society, oh my goodness gracious, we are the absolute martyrs. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And we're victims. There we have to find someone to blame. This is not my fault. This is because of outside circumstances. Happy people don't do that. They're not martyrs and they're not victims. That's it. I don't play that game. Not interested. If I did something that I'm responsible for, I stand up and I take responsibility for it. I'm not going to be a martyr and I'm not going to be a victim either in the circumstances. Gratitude, gratitude, the attitude of gratitude. They're always thankful. My Dani Lifanecho, thank you, Hashem, for doing it. Thank you to my wife, my beautiful wife that takes care of me and my family and now my grandchildren. Thank you so much for my children. Thank you for my friends, all these friends. Think about this. If you were not here, I'm talking to nobody. I thank you so much. I am so appreciative of the people that come on and listen to me. I can't begin to tell you how important gratitude is. And they're not stingy with their happiness. Some people say, I gotta be happy, but I'm miserable if other people are happy. Why? Why? I've often joked about the thing, when the lottery hits 500, 600, 700 million people everybody's buying a ticket. Hits a billion, everybody thinks to themselves. So people say to themselves, you know what, if I don't win, I don't want any of my friends on Facebook to win either. I don't want Steve Wasserman, Dr. Steve Wasserman, a good friend of mine, to make $1 billion. Even though I know that he would share it with the show. I understand, I know that. But I'd rather some guy in Minot, North Dakota wins. I don't know them. Because if someone wins, I'll be so jealous, I won't be able to sleep at night. Why? You're going to be stingy with your happiness. You're happy. Let someone else be happy as well. What do you care if they win $1 billion? Yeah, it's great. It's beautiful. Well, no, that's not the way we are. No, if I don't win, I don't want anybody I know that to win because I can't take someone else's success. Relationships. Relationships, ladies and gentlemen. How important are relationships? Value your relationships. Work on your relationships. Create relationships. Create them. Yes, go out there. Now it's a little harder to go out there, but you know what? We have an internet. Start a relationship with people. Yeah, you have friends. Write somebody. You call somebody. Work on those relationships. Cherish them. I've told you that the secret to long life and to meaningful life is strong, healthy relationships. Number one factor. Number one factor. So happy people enjoy healthy, good relationships. Now, does that mean that the relationships are always going to be smooth? Of course not. Of course not. There's going to be bumps along the way. In a marriage, there's bumps along the way. Father-children relationship, there's bumps along the way. We know that. We're not naive. We're not infants. We're adults. We're mature adults. We know there's going to be challenges. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We're working on them. We're working on them. This is not a marriage course, but in a marriage, you don't go to sleep angry. You make up. Come on. Come on. These are they're happy for other people. I come to someone else's wedding. I'm so happy to see him marrying off his children, that he's doing well. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. You know what? People have a happy people have a healthy support network because they're community people. They're involved in the community. It's a very important ingredient. Look, all of these things, they're not brain science. I'm not discovering something here like Einstein's special theory of relativity. These are simple things, but they're so hard to implement. Why, ladies and gentlemen? After this class, you see, Bob wrote, yeah, and Steve answered. You see that? See what kind of a congregants we have. My friend Dr. Weiner said, Steve, will you share with the money? And Steve said, immediately I will. Let's get that in writing, Bob. Get that in writing from him, please. All right? These are simple things, but they're so hard to implement. But these are characteristics of happy people. These are what happy people do. They're community people. They get involved in the community. Doesn't mean you have to spend 100 hours at the community, but you have to volunteer for the community. That's how you build good relationships. That's how you stay happy. Optimism, optimism, ay, 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 optimism. Pessimism can kill you, ladies and gentlemen. Literally, pessimism can kill you, right? Happy people are optimistic. They know there's going to be a better tomorrow. They'll be, even in Auschwitz, ladies and gentlemen, even in the dark days of Auschwitz, you had to have optimism to survive. My mother, who survived with her sister only because they kept saying to each other, "We're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here. We know it's terrible. You know what? But, but, no, we won't let it get us down." Optimism. These are all characteristics of happy people. And I want you to, if you have to rewatch this and figure this out, do that. And take one of those characteristics and implement them in your life, ladies and gentlemen. Because happiness and joy, as I said in the beginning of this class, is one of the most important ingredients to living a meaningful life. A sourpuss will not live a meaningful life. Someone that's happy and joyful, and again, the happiness is not something that you're going to see on them every second of the day. Okay? They're not jumping around like a clown, just laughing and making themselves silly. That's not what happiness truly is. What happiness is all of these things that I had mentioned before. Happiness comes and goes. Happiness is a decision that you make. Happiness is a state that you find yourselves in. I'm happy. I'm content. Later on, something will come up. I'll worry about it. You know what? But then I shift right back into my happiness state. Because why? Because that makes me a better person, a better rabbi, a better father, a better husband, a better friend, and it drives me. It absolutely drives me. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's the last piece of the puzzle. We had meaning, and we have the houses, the homes, we had the love, and how to deal with pain, and this is it. There's the puzzle. And the last piece was happiness and joy. The road to a meaningful life. I have to be honest with you, I had a wonderful time teaching this class. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it because it energizes me and reiterates in my mind all the things that I should be doing personally in my life. I hope that it was beneficial for you as well. I know we spent it's 6 hours, and 6 hours is not a lot, but you know what, ladies and gentlemen, if we take one idea or two ideas or three ideas, and we were able to implement them and make someone's life a little bit better, both me to you, you to me, you to others, and we spread it out, it's all worth it. So, thank you so very much, for doing that. I want to just encourage you to keep plugging away. Just keep plugging away. You know, change doesn't come overnight. It doesn't. Change comes when we continuously make good decisions, good decisions. You know what? It's like weight loss. It doesn't come overnight. It took me a long time to build up this, this the barrier reef, the battle of the bulge. And it's gonna take me a while to get rid of it. God willing, I will continue to stay on the right path. But you know what? Change comes from making the right decisions every day. It's not overnight. You're not going to change overnight, but slowly but surely, inch by inch is a cinch, yard by yard is hard. You know what? So we do things slowly and carefully, every day trying to make our lives just a little bit better, making one step forward, making a little progress. We're not looking for perfection. We are not looking for perfection. We're not. We're not. But we are looking for progress. That's what we're looking for. Little bit by little bit by little bit. Every day a little kinder, every day a little bit more compassionate, every day more smiles, every day more laughter, every day more caring. That's all. That's all we're asking for. Small little bits. You know what? And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, where there's a will, there's a way. If you want it, im tirtzu ein zu agada. If you wish it, this is not a fantasy. This can happen. We can live a meaningful life. Remember one thing, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, life is a journey and not a destination. There's no stopping. Every day is a destination that we keep going and going and going till 120. That's when it ends. But every day is another journey That's the beauty of waking up every day, finding new things, exciting new things in our lives that happen. Go, no, we don't know what's going to happen today. The worst punishment would be Groundhog Day. Every day would be the same. It's not. There's variety in our lives. There's a significance to our lives. There's happiness in our lives. There's sadness in our lives. There's challenges in our lives. But that's what makes us human beings. And that's what makes it so very important for us to be able to, in our minds, make that strong dedication, this commitment to making our lives better every day. Of course, Yiddishkeit helps. Absolutely, 100%. Getting committed to the Torah and getting committed to a community and getting committed to practical rituals and mitzvahs, no question about it. These are stepping stones, fundamental. Praying every day, putting on tefillin, lighting Shabbos candles, all these things help move us forward towards our goal to live the best life that we can live. Life. Enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. What's going to happen is we're going to take off a little bit of time after this class. Next Tuesday night there won't be a class, but for sure, after the new year in 2021, and I have to be honest with you, that we will. I love you too. I mean, when someone writes that they love you, how could you not express the greatest feeling? I wish my mother was around to see someone says they love me. I mean, that would give her such tremendous pleasure. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. But, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm not going to be sad to see 2020 go. But right now we're coming into the Hanukkah season. We're a bit busy, although not as busy as we were. We used to have this big event, and now it's going to be only virtual. So I hope that you will join us in that. That's going to be on Sunday at 4 o'clock. We have a car parade that we're going to do Saturday night. So we're going to take a little time off from JLI course, but we will get back. If not before the end of the year, maybe I'm still contemplating maybe doing a quick little 2-part series for something maybe on Hanukkah, during the month of December. We'll see, and I will let everybody know. By the way, 2 important things if you want to connect with me. Number 1 is, of course, Facebook. I post everything on Facebook prior to the class. Number 2 is our emails, shulbytheshore.org. If you want to get on our email list, all you got to do is to write to me, Rabbi at, it's all one word, shul, S-H-U-L, by the shore.org. If you don't enough to remember this, you can always notify me through Facebook. You're my friend. You can notify me through Facebook, and I can put you on our mailing list, and then you'll know everything that's going on with our classes and with our events and with our services. This, again, as I said, this ends this particular class on meaning. We're going to do other classes coming the new year. For sure, there's nothing to talk about. You can still always join me Thursday, 12 o'clock, for our Chumash class that we have. It's called Biblical Treasures. It's where we try to look behind the curtain at some secrets, that's beneath the text. You can always join me Friday, 2 o'clock, for our L'chaim, bringing in Shabbos in the right spirit. Also, Monday mornings at 9 o'clock, Coffee with My Dad, where me and Chayleya talk about various issues that have to deal with the Jewish community or our lives or whatever. So we try to connect and stay a little relevant in each other's lives. But, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the witching hour. I know it's 8:35 here in Southern California. It's 11:35 in New York, and who knows where else. It's 6:35 in Israel. If anybody's watching from Israel, I just want to bless you all that you should stay safe and healthy and live, ladies and gentlemen. Not only to just be alive, but really live. Squeeze every second out of our lives. Thrive. Go out there and make this world a better place. What you do for somebody else is going to come back and going to make you a better person. So, ladies and gentlemen, I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this was beneficial for you. I know it was beneficial for me. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, keep plugging away. We will get there slowly but surely. And hopefully before long, Hashem will send Mashiach Tzidkenu to take us out of this bitter exile. And we'll be done with this pandemic. We'll be done with all of the other problems. and then peace and harmony will reign forever. Thank you. Shalom. Until we see each other again, good night. I love you.